heading out on the first group ride I've done in about, I don't know, 20 odd years since I raced, longer, lifetime ago. There's a guy came train with Diogo and he's messaged me about 5 times to come training, and they're all like 7 a.m, 6:30, and it's way too early for me. It's gotta be fun. So it's 8:30 in the morning. I'm meeting a big group of guys, don't know what to expect. I expect to be blasted out the back, that's what I expect. I've got all the gear, look. You know, when I had the money, I hadn't the legs. It's gonna be fun, so I'm gonna just record and see how we get on. Hopefully I can hang on until the end. But should be some sharks here. So this is a 6-kilometer climb. Climbs up to Alsace, and they're gonna go to Montchique village. Yeah, the route I put on, I thought it was going to go one way, but it's going to anti-clockwise instead of clockwise, so it meant I had to do another 30k before I got to Montchique, and it's now lunchtime, 12:30, 1 o'clock, so I took this short route. Like I say, there's no tarmac, and there's dogs back that way, so hopefully we get some tarmac.
there. So that's just a field recorder, and that's going to be my mic, and that's going to sync up to that shit. Little light there, that's it. At the reception. Cheers. I have stopped drinking, but obviously because I'm going to chat the camera, I'm going to fucking have a beer. It's a Sagra tonight. Beautiful. So I went out on a bike ride. So I did a video, I had a couple of clips from the GoPro, and I did a couple of bike rides. I did a group bike ride, and I did a birthday bike ride. The group bike ride, I haven't been on a group bike ride since I stopped racing bikes. I was probably around 24. So that's a few moons ago. And I had a guy, we were doing fundamental MMA courses here, and I had a guy show up called Diogo. And he messaged me. Anyway, we were chatting before he started the MMA class, and dude in his 40s, we started talking about bikes, and he were, talking bikes, and you could tell by him that the MMA class wasn't really going to be for him. But afterwards, he said, listen, I have a group ride coming, why don't you come? And I kept saying no, because it was like 7:30 a.m, 7 a.m, 6:30, and for me, the relationship I have with the bike now, it's got to be fun. I'm not going to go out when it's 7 a.m. where it's a little bit cold. I got to wear more clothes because I'm a bit of a lizard in the mornings, and then strip off as I go. So I kept saying no, and he asked me like 4 times, and then one morning he said, look, we're meeting at 8 o'clock, there's a big group going. I said, fuck it, I'm in Saturday. So okay. And I was kind of nervous about it, because I remember when I was a kid, when I started first, I was like 15, it was a schoolboy, and the vets were these boys that were over 40, and the longer the spin went, the more I favoured the vets, the more they would fucking hammer you, and I figured I was going to get hammered, and it was great. I met down, everyone was super friendly, met some really cool people, and it was different to what I remember, as in the systems were different. So I didn't really want to demonstrate or show off or dictate and just see what they did. What we used to do was we'd have a formation of 2 and 2 and 2, and then the guy on the outside rides up to the front, and then the next guy rides up. So you get to talk to every second person every, say, 5 minutes. What they did was just kind of 2 come around here, so kind of like with the same people the whole time. But I enjoyed it, and I got chatting to people, and got used to being close to people on the bike, and it was like a race, because it gets competitive. So the first climb they all attack, then they wait for the guys at the top, then they attacked on the descent, then they attacked somewhere else, and then we got some good spins in, and I kind of ran out of steam about 10k to go. It was like 75k. I did about 65 in. I ran out of water, and I didn't eat, because generally if I do 80k, I'll have one bottle and don't eat, because I'm not putting that out, sort of output out. And it was brilliant, and it got me kind of thinking about riding in groups again, and the importance of being competitive. And I've been on a bit of a sabbatical at the moment, and I've been fixing a lot of things that I haven't been happy with me personally, and it's been an unusual year, just from the get-go. It's just been, because I always think when I'm at the top of the game, I'm always expecting something to go wrong, and because life is like that. It goes up, it goes down, and you got to experience the lows and the highs, but this time everything came crashing down on every level. Personal level, professional level, just every level, where I kind of just brought out something in me that wasn't really authentic to me, and I was disappointed in how I acted and how I resolved, or how I didn't resolve it. So since April, I've been doing a mobility yogi type routine on the beach, 8 o'clock every morning, getting in for a swim. I've kind of it's basically Kundalini. It's kind of Star showed me how to do it. It was one of these little routines that she was doing. And even when she was showing me how to do it, I was kind of really wasn't ready for it. And I'm one of those guys that just has to be ready to do shit, and I just wasn't ready. So now I've been doing it every day, and a lot of benefits from it. I've added in some stretching as well, which I never used to do. And Kieran Davern was over a few weeks ago, and I added in a few more things. So it's a full hour on the beach. In the morning, I swim. I say swim. I get in the water and get out, and then I do my little mantras on my little kind of beads, and then I lift. Or now I'm starting to ride the bike a little bit more, maybe 2 days a week. But the importance of being competitive, I think it keeps you switched on. And we're in a day and age where you can compete at any level. It's not like before. Once you got over a certain age, you couldn't compete because everyone that was competing was young, and nobody out over 35 competed. Whereas now you see people doing competitions at 70, and there's somebody to compete against. All you need is someone at your level to get you out of bed, to get you motivated, to get you focused. And when you're in those kind of states of focus, good things come. When you're not in those states of focus, shit happens, and bad stuff is attracted to you. And like attracts like, and when things come crumbling down because you haven't got your basics right, it all comes at once until you get it back together again. An example of this was, I remember painting houses, and I was working on building sites, and for some reason I walked off the site as I always did. I just used to get paid me bollocks with it, and I'd run out of steam, and I'd just start getting later and later, and they'd complain about me being late, and I'd say, look, you're not paying me to be on time. I'm paid per house, so I'll come in whenever time I fucking want. But no one ever liked that. They like to tell you what to do. Actually, Pablo was here last week. He went for a bit of meal. He used to work for him years ago, and I was late. He said, nothing's really fucking changed, is it? I said, no, but I'm early here. I've walked, or something happened. I fucking just walked off the job again, and I always relied on that I was good. And the people would always take me back on because they'd get over the kind of me being a prima donna because I was good, and they'd take me back on again over all the other shit, So it's good having guys that come early, but if they can't do the job, they can't do the fucking job. So I ended up working for Alex. He was a Maori dude, and he'd always give me a bit of work. And they had this guy called Yuri working for them. He was like a dog's body. He was a Ukraine guy, young guy, married with a kid, and they just had him just doing all this shite work, rubbing down stuff. That was it. He wasn't really doing anything, not paying much. And I kind of got to the end of that job, and Pablo had given me my job back with Right Decor again, so I was back on the sites, and I said to your man Yuri, why don't you come with me? Come on the house with me. I'll give you more money than you get paid. I'll teach you how to paint instead of just rubbing down shit, and you can get on with it and make some money and have a few quid. And we agreed. So he came in on the first day, and the pace he went for a 3-bedroom house, you had to finish a 3-bedroom house on your own in 5 days. So the pace was first coat walls and ceilings, prime all the woodwork. So that's all the door frames, doors, 3 bedrooms upstairs, ensuite, hall stairs and landing, banister rails, sitting room, dining room, kitchen, and a bit of a kind of an extension, downstairs loo. That's day one, and you got to keep that pace all the way through. And it was fucking flat out hard work. So we were priming the woodwork, and all in this house I was kind of already had started it, and all we could start finishing off was priming the skirting boards, which were about yay high at the bottom of the where the floor meets the wall. So I left Yuri downstairs, and I said to him, look, you start in the kitchen, do the downstairs, I'll start upstairs, and I'll meet you in the middle. And this is where I realised the importance of being competitive, because I always had like different types of friends. I had like different hats that I wore. So I always had like competitive friends that were into sport, and then I had non-competitive friends that were into maybe partying or drinking, if you know what I mean. So I always had like foot in both camps, but I never realised the importance of self-worth and self-esteem by being non-competitive. So anyway, like if I was in a house and I was painting 2 doors and there was a guy who had 3 doors painted and I had only got 2, I'd be like, what the fuck is he doing? I need to be quicker than him. And I've always been like that. So I started off upstairs, just a normal pace. I used to do like a box split when I was doing skirtings. I wouldn't put my knee down because you had to like do it real quick. So, and you could hit the floor because it was a building site. You didn't have to, there was no carpet, there was no nothing down. It's just like fucking no electricity, no water, no nothing, just fucking lash it out of it. And I did all upstairs, the 3 bedrooms, all the way down the staircase, and I go back into the kitchen, and there's Yuri, and he's moved about 3 meters, and he's sitting on his ass with his legs crossed, kind of like dipping along, and that's when I realised how important it is to be competitive, because he was in his own little world, but he was never going to ever go anywhere because he couldn't keep up with the pace that was needed in order to graft, in order to get better, in order to kind of compete. And that was the first day and the last day with me and Yuri. But that would be my lesson about being competitive. And I kind of forgot about it. Going back out on the bike ride made me realise how much of a benefit it is to you and how much friendly competition is very good for you. And not everyone's a fucking winner, and not everyone should get a medal. And even just to compete against yourself, you know, just to go out and do something. But if you can compete against yourself and just do a triathlon or a marathon or a half marathon or a 5k run, get better at it, and then find people you can push you that will compete against yourself. Because it's very easy to fall into the trap of just doing it and getting the doer's medal. Anyone can start. I could wake up tomorrow and run a fucking marathon. Now I won't be able to walk for a week. I've done it before. I ran a half marathon on fucking 15 seconds. Now it was on a beach one time with no training, and I finished it. But you know, do I need a medal for that? No. But do I think I could win it? No. But is there someone I can compete against? Yeah, there is. Other people that will push me, because you can't really push yourself that hard if you don't have something to judge it against. It's always good to train with a partner. It's always good to get someone to get the best out of you, because you're trying to keep up with them. You're being competitive in your nature, and I think it's a very, very important thing. And I think a lot of people, it's kind of lost on in the also rans, in the medal for competing, and everyone's a fucking winner. No, you're not. You're not. But use it as a stepping stone to become more competitive. Use it as a stepping stone to become more switched on, more aware of how much potential you actually have. You know, so that was it. So it was a weird video, because there's me riding the bike and then me talking about fucking Yuri sitting on his ass painting his curtain. This Thursday, so today's Tuesday. Thursday I'm going to Ibiza. Got a call there. Connor's going for his birthday, and then I'm going to stay on and do some training with him and see where it goes from there. I have an Olympic lifting coaching course to do in August, and there's a few reasons I want to do that. One of the reasons is I've been interested in it. I think it's an excellent discipline, and suits very fast people. I couldn't sprint my way out of a paper bag, but if you stop doing stuff fast, you'll lose it. I noticed I was doing everything slow, like lifting slow, jiu-jitsu slow, boxing slow, shadow boxing slow. I'm making an excuse that it's kind of like purposeful, but you got to go fast. I was looking at Paul Reed stuff on Instagram there. All stuff is like fast, and you got to train those fast twitch muscles. The other thing I realised is muscles are currency. You need to keep that currency, and you need to be lean. There's no point in just training and just being fat mess. Think as lean muscle as a currency that you got to earn and you got to keep and you got to hang on to, and it's a good sign of health. Second reason is I want to go and do other coaching, because I don't consider myself a coach, but more of a trainer or more of a kind of soigneur. But the coaching to me is just like, coach is just like a fat dude with his jocks pulled up around his belly with coach written on a circle and a whistle, shouting at kids. That to me is the typical coach. But I think I want to learn how other people get the message across, and programming and their systems, and see if I learn anything from their systems or things I would change, or be open-minded about learning new stuff. And that's what I'll be doing in next month. And then I'm going to start training with Kieran Davern. He was over, and myself and Kieran get on great, but I've realised how good a trainer he is, and how much he's into jiu-jitsu, and not just jiu-jitsu but grappling. And I'm not really into jiu-jitsu because it's a bit of a geeky sport, but I'm into grappling, and I'm into MMA, and I'm into real true fighting and expression, and having options more so than just training with a gi. I'm not into that. It limits the way you train, it limits the way you think, it's how you process shit. I want options. I want to be able to use elbows, I want to be able to use like punches, takedowns. I like the aspect of what way you can go with it. He's got a great bunch of systems in play for grappling, so he's in Tullamore. So the course is in Waterford, and then I'm going to go over to him for 3 days. He's got 3 classes, 2 in the morning, 1 in the evening. I'm going to go 3 days, do the 3 classes, bring it back, study it, drill it, and then go back out again every 6 weeks or every 2 months, and start learning under him, because he's out of all the guys, I meet a lot of people, he is one of the best guys I've met for a long, long time. That inspires me to get back into learning again, because I've been teaching the same shit for the last 10 years, so I haven't been learning that much. So now it's a case of learning again. So that's what I'm going to do. So anyway, that's me waffling, as usual. I only drank a half of that. I don't think I even want to finish it, but I'll finish it. And that's it. Life is interesting, and everything can be fixed if you're willing to see what you're doing wrong, and if you're willing to put the work in. I think a lot of people just give up on things, or give up on people, or give up on, try that yoga once, didn't really work. It's a case of, if you can realise what you're doing wrong, and if you can realise the mistakes you're making, and recognise them, and listen to people what they're saying, because a lot of the times you don't really listen. You just yeah, I'm not listening, and you got to listen to other people's opinion, because they see what you don't. And then when you start to see what they see, and you realise what you're doing is wrong, and where you can go and correct it, and make yourself a better version, because you're all these different people to different people, you're a different person to your mother, to your lover, to your husband, to your wife, to your daughter, to your son. So, but who is the real person, and under the layers and the layers, who am I? Who is it that is asking the question, who am I? And it's the watcher watching how the perception, the act of me is being played out, and how sometimes for whatever reason and circumstance that you don't do the right thing, but you can observe it, realise it, fix it, put that away, and don't let that happen again. Jeff Thompson had a great one, and it was to find out who I am, find out who you are not. And I think that's the better way to look at it, instead of who are you? Who are you? Find out who you are not. So are you a liar? Are you a thief? Are you a bully? Are you a cunt? And if you're not, well, why are you acting like one? And that's why are you acting like one, rather than finding your true self and being more authentic and living in the truth and dealing with the consequences, instead of eventually your house of cards will fall down and you'll be left with fuck all, nothing, nada. So that is it. life is a journey, and it's wonderful. It's also challenging. But the realization of where you're going wrong, what you can do to improve it, how you can change it, but the other person has to be willing to forgive, and they also have to be willing to give you a chance. And you just got to let go and realize that everything's already written. It's already written. We're just acts in God's play. That's it. We're just actors. But it's already done. And it's paying attention to the bigger picture and realizing that everything is fixable. You just got to do the fucking work. So I'll be on the beach in the morning, do my fucking Kundalini, do my Hare Krishnas. Well, I have a different mantra, but I don't do Hare Krishna. I just do, my mantra in the morning is love, light and power. And the second one, on the second loop, because I have a whole bunch of them to go through, is ageless and timeless. And that's all you are. The rest has already been written. I think that's the biggest waffle I've ever done. But I hope when I play it back that I find something in it myself, because a lot of these ones I don't know what I was talking about until I play it back, and I find things in it myself that just come out, and it's I find it profound. It's kind of, when you say things out loud, they're different to when they're in your head. It's kind of like, you know, my name is John and I'm an alcoholic. He knew he's an alcoholic for 20 years, but it's when he says it out loud in front of a group of people that he realizes that's what he is, and it's profound. And sound is a huge weapon, but it's also a great power to use. So be careful with the sounds you make. On that note, Hare Krishna, we are all one. Namaste.